In franchise history with how many consecutive games she's had 20 plus points.
The number of games in which Kelsey Mitchell has scored 20 points or more in a row is establishing franchise history. Although Stephanie White's recent press conference was one of the most polished and basketball-focused media appearances we've seen in WNBA history, there was a noticeable omission of Kelsey Mitchell amid the praise for Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull. This prompted discussions and questions about why Mitchell's name was left out of the spotlight. Could it be an indication of more serious problems within the Indiana Fever? Many people might not be aware that Mitchell is currently playing in China during the offseason and will return to the United States in 2025, which could account for her physical absence. Thank you all are so sweet. I'm Kelsey Mitchell. I am a guard and I look forward to playing with the team this year. This omission, along with Mitchell's impending free agency in January 2025, has sparked interest among fans and analysts alike. Is she really a part of the team's future plans? Or is this a sign that her time with the Fever may be coming to an end? In this video, we're delving into what Stephanie White actually thinks of Kelsey Mitchell, why there's no need to panic, why there are reasons to believe Kelsey is not just a part of the Fever's future, but a crucial pillar, and how her chemistry with Caitlin Clark could influence the WNBA. Stay tuned as we analyze White's coaching philosophy, recent performances, and why this team's Fab Four could redefine the Indiana Fever's legacy. Before we break it down, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Let's go! When you think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they will go down in history as the greatest. With a confident basketball center, Stephanie White's opening press conference signaled the start of a new era for the Indiana Fever. She emphasized the team's future goals, referring to key players like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston as generational talents. Although the obvious omission of Kelsey Mitchell's name raised fans' eyes, these remarks highlighted White's strategic approach, which was centered on high-caliber performances and long-term potential. They wondered if this omission pointed at underlying conflicts or a shift in priorities, but context offers clarity. Mitchell was playing in China, which is a typical off-season relocation for WNBA players looking to obtain financial advantages and competitive experience. Her absence from the conference was more functional than symbolic, as White subsequently confirmed in her comments and subsequent media appearances. When you have a core three, for example, we surround them with players who will, first and foremost, embrace the roles, and second, provide us with the best chances for success by enhancing what they do exceptionally well. Throughout the press conference, White had a strategic reason for concentrating on Clark and Boston. Although Mitchell's name wasn't mentioned much, the goal was always to increase the immediate buzz about Clark and Boston. In interviews after the press conference, White clarified the situation and talked candidly about the strength of the team's foundation, stating that players who mesh well together are at the core of her strategy. It wasn't just about celebrating the present, it was also about highlighting the future and creating excitement around the Fever's evolving core. Well, they were literally sitting right in front of her, so it's pretty obvious to give them a nod. As White looks to assemble cohesive and competitive roster, Mitchell's demonstrated leadership and experience are essential. She embodies this ideal by creating scoring opportunities and connecting with teammates effortlessly. Kelsey Mitchell, who I believe has weathered the storm of Indiana Fever basketball, had what I believe to be her best season to date this year. And when you think of a team, you think of a core three. Additionally, Fever executive Mitchell's worth to the franchise is further demonstrated by Kelly Koff's public praises of her. Mitchell's development and crucial position in complementing White's team have been underlined by Koff on numerous occasions. Champions that adhere to this core principle strike a balance between depth and the spirit of cooperation. While new players like Clark and Boston are being hailed, the team's success depends on the team's collective synergy, with Mitchell serving as a linchpin and locker room leader. This is the clear message from both management and coaching. White's press conference was more than just an introduction, it was a calculated declaration of intent. By emphasizing Clark and Boston, she drew the audience in and pointed them toward the Fever's bright future. But as later interviews and subtly placed team questions revealed, Mitchell's importance endures. Remember to like, subscribe, and enable all notifications if you've watched this far and found the video entertaining. We understand that watching this video requires some of your time, and we appreciate that. Now, let's get back to the action. Imagine being able to work with a big three and then continue to work and put pieces around them to compete for a championship in my home state. It couldn't have come at a better time. Fans and analysts speculated that Stephanie White's first press conference did not include Kelsey Mitchell's name. Was this a sign that the new coach and the seasoned guard were not on the same page? Or was Mitchell thinking about leaving Indiana Fever behind as her free agency loomed in January 2025? These queries sparked discussions, but a more thorough investigation tells a different tale. To start, it's critical to make clear that Mitchell's absence from the event was entirely logistical. She was performing in China during the off-season. This immediately dispels the notion that Mitchell's absence was indicative of more serious problems. In a follow-up interview, Stephanie White, who is renowned for her strategic and intelligent communication, tackled this subject head-on. White stressed the value of having a core three on the team, which suggested that Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston will play a key role. We plan to have a lot of conversations and make sure she understands that, but I believe she is aware that there is evidence to support Mitchell's continued involvement with the team. These comments were not an accident. White is intentional in her language and frequently uses it to signal broader intentions without going beyond what can be publicly disclosed due to contractual rules. Keep in mind that the Fever is bound not to be able to confirm or deny any news regarding free agency because it hasn't even started. In addition to executive remarks and interviews, Mitchell was regularly spotted at Pacers games during the 2024 season and the postseason, actively participating in the Fever's development. Claps, therefore, why did the removal of Mitchell's name cause such a stir? Dynamics such as outward displays of solidarity don't correspond with a player intending to break away from the organization. Rather, they indicate someone who sees herself as a part of the Fever's fabric and is eager to build on past setbacks for future victories. The timing and recent history of the Fever are the cause. Following years of reconstruction and poor performance, supporters are extremely cautious about the stability and prospects of important players. To dispel these rumors, it is clear that Mitchell's value isn't just maintained, it's highlighted in how White and the Fever's leadership envision their path forward. The signs, which range from subtle clues to direct acknowledgments, indicate that Mitchell is more than likely to remain a key part of this promising new chapter. White's emphasis on new talent and a reionized philosophy was interpreted by some as a shift away from established stars like Mitchell, but subsequent interviews and team actions show that this was more about framing the new era and setting a tone of optimism than it was about ignoring veteran talent. Without Kelsey Mitchell, we wouldn't be where we are now. She is undoubtedly a very foundational element. She has spent 7 years in and out of this building and has seen a lot. Kelsey, a number of strategic and personal factors make a compelling case for Mitchell's continued presence on the roster. First and foremost, Mitchell is currently having one of the best runs of her career, and her partnership with Caitlin Clark has transformed both players and the Indiana Fever as a whole. Mitchell's potential departure has been a hot topic as her free agency in January 2025 draws near, but evidence suggests she is likely to stay with the team. Mitchell has been able to score goals thanks to court vision and scoring gravity, which has allowed her to flourish in a system that plays to her skills. Caitlin wasn't alone in her outstanding play. Indy had an all-star trio with leading scorer Kelsey Mitchell and 2023 Rookie of the Year Aaliyah Boston as well. This was the second time in team history that the Fever had 3 all-stars in a season. And secondly, the team's potential under White's leadership is undeniable. The two have become one of the league's most formidable backcourts, pushing the Fever to newfound competitiveness. Mitchell would lose her best chance at long-term success and possibly a championship if she were to abandon this synergy. Mitchell's style of play is well suited to Stephanie White's strategic goal on creating complementary lineups that are cohesive. White's emphasis on roles and team unity complements Mitchell's shown ability to blend in and elevate team performance, making her a vital asset as the Fever